Okay, principles of rehabilitation. Okay, first principle, the user's goals, needs, and tasks must be clearly defined, listed, and incorporated as early as possible in the intervention process. Second one is involvement of rehabilitation professionals with the differing skills and know how will maximize the probability for the successful outcome. Then third one is the user's preferences, cognitive and physical abilities and limitations, living situation, tolerance for technology, and probable changes in the future must be thoroughly assessed, analyzed, and quantified. Next one is careful consideration of available technology for meeting the user's needs must be carried out to avoid overlooking potentially useful solutions. Next principle is the user's preferences and choice must be considered in the selection of the assistive technology device. Then the assistive technology device must be customized and installed in the location and setting where it primarily will be used. Then next one is not only must the user be trained to use the assistive device, but also the attendants or family members must be made aware of the devices, intended purpose, benefits, and limitation. Then last principle is follow-up, readjustment, and reassessment of the user's usage patterns and needs are necessarily at periodic intervals. Okay, these are all the 8 principles of assistive technology assessment or rehabilitation. Okay, now let us going to see one by one. Okay, first principle: the user's goals, needs, and tasks must be clearly defined, listed, and incorporated as early as possible in the intervention process. Okay, to avoid overlooking needs and goals, checklists and pre-made forms should be used. A number of helpful assessment forms. So the first principle, what's tell there, in the sense, the user's goals and needs and tasks must be clearly defined. Okay, before going for this rehabilitation procedure, need to give one checklist to that person, and that person should fill up that checklist or forms. Okay, based upon the person's or the patient's goals, needs, and tasks. That you need to analyze what kind of need for that particular person, what task, what need, that should be analyzed. Then only you go for the further process. So this user goals, needs, and tasks must be clearly defined and listed and incorporated as soon as possible in the intervention process. That's first principle. And second principle is involvement of rehabilitation professionals with differing skills and know how will maximize the probability for a successful outcome, depending on the purpose and environment in which assistive technology device will be used. A number of professionals should participate in the process of matching technology to a person's need. Okay, second principle is maximize the probability for a successful outcome. Okay, in this misconception, we have seen one-third of the patient, one-third of the persons are not continuing with that assistive device. They are not willing to continue with that one assistive device. So the professionals should analyze how to maximize the probability for the successful outcome. Okay, so depending on the purpose and environment which the assist technology device will be used, so what type of assist device we can use in that particular person, and that should be analyzed, which one is suitable that for that particular person. That should be analyzed based upon the person's family situation, their job, willingness. That all we need to analyze. After that, go for the further process. Then only will get the successful outcome. Okay, that's second principle. And third principle is the user's preferences, cognitive, mentally and physically abilities and limitations, living situations, tolerance for technology, and probable changes in the future must be thoroughly assessed, analyzed, and quantified. Okay, rehabilitation engineers will find that the highly descriptive vocabulary and qualitative language used by non-technical professionals need to be translated into attributes that can be measured and quantified. Okay, for example, whether a disabled person can use one or more upper limb should be quantified in terms of each limb's ability to reach, lift, and grasp. So, in this third principle, okay, the user's preferences based upon the mentally as well as physical abilities, living situation, that will all should analyze and quantify. Okay, so suppose that person can't able to understand this technical vocabulary and all, we need to teach with that non-technical professionals. Okay, and translate that technical terms and need to convey to that person. Okay, so here an example is given. Okay, suppose the person need to for two or more than one upper limb, since two upper limb, hence should quantify which type of upper limb should be fit for that one, because what kind of functions here the persons needed, lifting is or so that one we need to analyze the preference of the mentally as well as physical ability should be analyzed living situation. Okay, that's third principle. And fourth one is careful consideration of available technology for meeting the user's need must be carried out to avoid overlooking potentially useful solutions. So we need to use the advanced technology. Okay, what type of technology we can use in that particular patient. So in this principle, what's tell in the sense, careful consideration of available technology for meeting the user's needs. Okay, suppose one person need one assist device in the sense, assistable device in the sense, we need to go for the advanced one. So you need to utilize or need to apply the recent advanced technology and you need to solve the problem. Okay. Example, electronic day services. Okay. Often provide the rehabilitation engineer or assist technologists with an initial overview of potentially useful devices, prescribe, modify, and deliver to the consumer. So, what this fourth principle tells that, okay, careful consideration of available technology for meeting the user's need. Okay, must be carried out to avoid the overlooking potentially useful solutions. So, before going to process this, the professionals should analyze, okay, the recent technology and how we need to solve that problem. That's the important thing. And fifth principle is users' preferences and choice must be considered in the selection of the assist technology base. So, for example, we need to do one assist technology, or last class we have seen this, but that upper limb prosthesis, okay, or maybe lower limb or any of the process you are going to do in essence. We need to give the choice to that preference choice to that post selection, which type of assisted technology that patient is needed, willing to. So then only that will be useful for that patient. Okay, surveys indicate that the main reason as technology is rejected or poorly utilized in the inadequate consideration of the user's needs and preferences. Throughout the process of searching for appropriate technology, the ultimate consumer of the technology should be viewed as a partner and stakeholder rather than as a passive, disinterested recipient of services. So the user's willingness, the user's interest is very important thing. Suppose the user is not willing to do that assist technology in the sense or assist device in the sense, you don't do that one. Okay, you give the chance to that patient. So the user's preferences and choice must be considered. Selection of assist technology. Okay, so that's very important thing. That's Principle 5. Then sixth principle, the assist technology device must be customized and installed in the location and setting where it primarily will be used. Okay, so before going to use that assist technology, primarily we need to fit that this location and to give the primary use. Okay, that's principle. And seventh principle is not only must the user be trained to use the assist device, but also the attendants or family members must be made aware of the device's intended purpose, benefits, and limitation. Okay, this is also another one important thing. This is principle number 7. So